Here's your trophy.
All right.
You decided to play Goblins, which is a deck we see a fair bit of on the Open Series, but it actually hasn't had any top-level finishes recently. Are you a big fan of Goblins? Have you played it for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I got into Legacy about 4 years ago, and since that time I've been messing around with decks, but Goblins has kind of been my go-to. Over those years, I've played all shades of Goblins, from Mental Misstep to black to green for Tinspring Hooligan.
Sure.
I settled on white about a year ago and played it last year at the Star City Open in Minneapolis. Got a top 8 finish. Since then, I actually haven't played it in the past year.
Wow.
This is the first time I brought it out to a tournament since last year.
So technically that's 2 in a row.
It's technically 2 in a row since I've been playing Goblins. There have been some changes to the deck, the biggest addition being Wear and Tear and Rest in Peace are both really incredible sideboard cards.
Yeah.
So the main deck really just shuffled numbers, but I think Goblins, with white, has gotten some really powerful sideboard cards. And it allows it really to just hold its own. Just the sheer explosive power of Goblins can win game 1 in a lot of cases, and then reasonable sideboard cards can really take down a lot of decks. Yeah,
I really like the white as well. I actually played it in Vegas several months ago myself, and yeah, I think Thalia is really sweet in the deck. Adds a little more oomph than people might realize. Obviously, added a lot of oomph in your finals there. Even though Jake seemingly was able to dismantle the little bit of a hard lock you set up with Thalia and Aethys Roncanis in one game, it wound up being enough pressure to still clinch the match. He obviously has to answer it or die.
Yeah, and I was fortunate. I held on to essentially a shatter with the wear, and it allowed me to take out a Lion's Eye Diamond if you chained them together, or if he played a spell after playing Lion's Eye.
Yeah, his miss sequence really cost him there.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases, I mean, there's a lot of removal in Goblins, like a lot of main deck removal, which helped me a great deal in my first top 8 match against Merfolk. But then as we got having main deck removal, but as I played combo in the finals, I had so many dead cards.
Obviously, yeah.
So like a Shatter was better than a Gem Palm Incinerator. So bringing that in, even though it wasn't necessarily a great sideboard card, it was better than what is functionally a dead Goblin draw.
Taking down the sideboard games is obviously your target in that matchup, as it is a big, tough game 1 matchup. Unless you land that Thalia, you're going to be icy cold a lot of the time. Moving over to the rest of your top 8 matches, you actually played a really interactive match against Jund. How do you feel that matchup actually is? Because it looked pretty back and forth, really leaning on Ringleader to take it home.
Yeah, the match, game 1 took us about 40 minutes. In any timed match, I think that would have caused the match to go to time. It really came down to for him to being able to recur Punishing Fire, and every turn take out 2 of my Goblins. But I was fortunate with my Ringleaders. I think I played all 4 and drew a total of 10 cards. And then being able to play War Chiefs and Chieftains, I was able to play more than 2 Goblins a turn, and so he had to spend all his turns burning those out. Game 1 was really tough because other than being able to wasteland his groves, there's no real way to deal with Punishing Fire. I had absolutely no expectations of winning game 1, but then going into game 2 was kind of my plan, because Rest in Peace deals with, it blanks.
Oh, sure. Deathred Shaman, Tarmogoyf, and
I think
Punishing Fire. 12
cards in his build, because he also had Life from the Loam.
Right, yeah.
And so just one Rest in Peace blanks huge chunks of his deck. And even if he can remove it, he's still behind getting his Tarmogoyf, getting his Deathrite back up. So that was really my goal. Game 1 was just super unexpected. It just was a real slog. Tarfire was also a recent addition to Goblins, and I burned out a
lot of Deathrite Shamans.
A lot of Deathrite Shamans, lots of Dark Confidants. Yep. Big fan of Tarfire. I think it was one of the cards that the deck was really missing.
I've seen Tarfire in list, and I know Cedric has played as many as 3 in his list, which is a lot of shocks for Legacy.
Yeah, shock is totally reasonable. One of the big things about Goblins last year when I played it was pre-Deathrite. On the play, Goblin Lackey would trade or beat every single 1-drop in the format, except for Nettle Sentinel. Sure. But with the rise of Deathrite, now all of a sudden, even a turn 1 Lackey can be trumped by a 1-drop that's played in so much of the field. That was really the impetus for running the additional Tarfires. And also, I've Sting Scourged a lot of turn 1 Deathrites.
Yeah, you got to get in.
Right, pushing through that first Lackey and building up tempo is absolutely worth it. So that was kind of one of the big problems, but Tarfire is wonderful. Tarfire really held its own today.
All right. Well, Kenny, congratulations once more on your trophy.
Thanks again.
I guess we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
As you try to run
Absolutely.
it back. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to the booth. Patrick and Shaheen will close things out.